You are listening to Words with a Mad Coach. Mad World, what is up today? Recently, I've found myself having that infamous discussion with the fighters about their level of dedication and what it takes to progress to the next level, whatever that is, meaning that you are an amateur and you want the championship, or you're a successful amateur and you want to turn pro. So I'm going to give you some tips to help you progress, so that when you run into these sticking points, and usually the sticking points are life gets at you and you get down on yourself. And that's all it is. It's the enemy within. You allow things to get to you and you forget that, what's that movie, The Hangover? And the Chinese dude says, "Did you die?" Dude, you got to get back to that. You got to remember, if you're not dead, you got a chance. Dead men feel no pain, as the Road Warriors would say. So you got to start with number one, define your goals. Get out of bed, stay excited. Ask yourself, what do you get excited about when you get out of bed? Remember when you were a kid and it was the first day of school and you got excited about it? Now, you might not have held that excitement for the rest of the year, but that first day, you got excited about it. When it was your birthday, you got excited about it. When it was a special event, you got excited about it. What you need to learn to do is to draw upon that energy. Anytime you've ever been excited, figure out what was going on mentally so that you can call upon it anytime you want when you need a little extra boost. Other than that, you need to write it down. You need a mission statement. Write it down. Put it somewhere where you can see it. Remind yourself. It can be a written statement. It can be a symbol of that statement. Maybe if you're already an amateur champion, put the championship somewhere where you can see it, because maybe it symbolizes something that you want in the future. Speak it. Talk to people about it. Make sure they're like-minded, all right? And when I say like-minded, I don't mean like minds. You don't necessarily need to be around other fighters. You just need to be around other people who are good at doing what they do. So speak it. That way you can hear high-level performance people talk and understand what they talk about. Understand the mental process they go through to get themselves up every day to achieve whatever it is they want to achieve. So speak it, write it, talk about it. Surround yourself with like-minded people. You need to clearly see the end in the beginning. You need to clearly see the end game. So let me go to the first part. See the end in the beginning. All right, I think Stephen Covey wrote this in his book of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. But for example, for a fighter, you would see your hand being raised. You would see round 3. I'm working backwards here. You would see the fight itself. You would see the warm-up. You would see you walking into the venue. You would see you traveling to the show, the state. You would see the weight cut. You would see the fight camp. You would see the contract signing. You would see the desire. All right? Get a vision of what it looks like going forward and backward every day. That way you don't miss any points in between. Get a vision of what it should look like so that there are no surprises. And as far as the end game, understand what that overall goal is every day. That way, no matter what comes your way, you won't be deterred. You won't be knocked off. All right? Don't let anybody shake you up to the point where they have control over you. Now, there are going to be some things in your life that throw you off a little bit, and you're going to give excuses to it. You're going to say, Oh, it's family. Oh, it's work. Oh, I don't have enough time. Well, none of that has anything to do with them. That's all about you not being able to prioritize, or you have to set priorities and just remember some basics that are true. A, it's not your brother's birthday every day. It's not a family reunion every Saturday. Work doesn't call you in 24 hours a day. Okay? So there's enough time to do what you need to do. You just need to understand the reality of it. So one, as a fighter, you need to create a value list for the short term. So in other words, a fight camp is generally about 8 weeks. And that's if you have a lot going on in your life. And that's also if you are somewhat infrequent in terms of training. So you need about 8 weeks out. Actually, you need about 12 weeks out so you can actually plan for some of these events and get them out of the way. The biggest mistake most guys make is they get busy in that 4-week window leading up to the event. So try not to plan anything inside that window if you can help it. Everything that happens inside that window should be a random occurrence. I had a flat tire. My daughter needed to go to the hospital. Daycare called. You know, one of my employees, if you're a manager, one of my employees did something. One of my employees called off. I had to put in an extra shift that day. You should not deliberately be planning things in that 4-week window. So if it's your birthday, suck it up. If it's your anniversary, and I don't mean like your wedding anniversary or something significant. I mean something like 2 years ago you were promoted. Dude, screw it. Cut it out. Don't give in to too much leisure. Anything that can be put off. You celebrate it at another time. You know, I celebrate the whole month of August for my birthday. All right, just in case I have to train, or and I've fought on my birthday. I've organized fights on my birthday. I've cornered people on my birthday. So you know what? I just choose another day. I don't make that big of a deal about it. All right, so you need to have a value list that is riddled in reality. That an 8-week camp is what you need if you are infrequent. And you need to be honest with yourself and realistic about it. A 6-week camp, if you kind of lack a skill in one area, but you're in the gym and you are very good at the other skills. And about a 3-week camp, if you train at least at a minimum 2 hours a day, and I'm talking about you're good at what you do, and out of training, out of a camp, you train about 2 hours a day, because it's easy for you to just add another training session in. And it's also easy because you don't have major holes. Everybody has holes in their game, but what the type of holes I'm talking about, where you need a 12-week camp or 8-week camp, are major holes. For instance, you're fighting an Olympic wrestler and you've never wrestled. That's a major hole. Number 2, all right, that was all number 1. So define your goals, see the end in the beginning, prioritize, and create a value list for yourself. Okay. So number 2, fuck the world. Stop buying into what others sell you and start buying what you want. So that means you got to have a good mental picture of what it is that you want. You need to have self-esteem, self-standards, avoid distractions, avoid excuses. This is not about putting yourself on a pedestal. This is understanding what takes you away from your goal. All right, so you're going to create a cheat sheet for failure. And be determined and disciplined. Fuck all the accountability programs and go for the evidence. In other words, we've heard all the science. The science says mastery takes place after 500 hours of doing something, or 10,000 reps, You have to train 12 hours per week, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks for a fight camp. 2 times your body weight in strength is a sign of improvement. Running 2 miles in 12 minutes is a sign of high endurance. Being able to train 20 rounds of drilling, 60 rounds of training all together. You know, we've heard all the science, all the methods. So my thing is, if you're not close to any of the current standards and evidence out there, you're not doing it right. So fuck the world. If you're not living close to these standards, you know, and they're all out there. They tell you, you know, if you're gonna weight cut, you should be within so much percentage, blah 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 blah. If you're gonna eat certain foods for energy, you should eat this and that. If you're not doing those things, and you know this, like, you know what the science says, you know what the results, the actual findings are. You've read them. You've heard all the reports. You watched the YouTube videos, and you know all of this stuff. And, you know, and especially the stuff that's been confirmed. You know all of this, and you're still not doing it. Do not talk to me about, oh, it's family, oh, it's work, or it's time, it's the team, nobody wants to help me. It's you. All right. So number 2, stop buying what others want to sell you. Buy what you want, but to do that, you've got to learn what is out there and look at the evidence and really be honest with yourself. You don't need anybody to be accountable for your nonsense. You know whether or not what your 2-mile run is. You know what your punch output is. You know how many hours a day or how many hours a week you're getting in, how many sessions a week. You just be honest. You look at what the best guys do and ask yourself, am I close to that model? If not, quit lying to yourself. Number 3, laziness. So let me give you a good way to look at laziness, because everybody always thinks laziness is that thing where, oh, I'm just sitting on my couch, I'll get up and I'll do it whenever I want. Look at laziness like this. Learn from those who did nothing. Learn from those who regret. Learn from those who failed to do anything, who failed to act when they had the chance to act. Don't look at books. Don't get on the internet and listen to all these sad stories. I want you to learn from people who have truly failed. So when you talk to them, when you have dinner with them, that you get the full expression. You feel their emotion. Talk to a homeless person and ask him, is this how you wanted things to be? Do you wish things were different? And I want you to see the tears in his eyes. I want you to hear the tremble in his voice. Ask a convict, do you like it in here? Do you wish things were different? I want you to feel his anger and his frustration and his regret. Because I want you to understand that these are nothing more than missed steps. Somewhere in their process, they made a mistake. They didn't take the right action. They misstepped. You need to learn truly in person. Call them on a phone. You know, we all know somebody that failed in some major area of their life. A failed marriage, a failed business, something that really hurt them. We're not talking about somebody who played pickup basketball and they lost the game. Right? Where it really counted and it really hurt. The coulda, woulda, shoulda, but they didn't. That's true laziness. All right? Learn from those missteps where they could have taken an action, but they didn't. We're not talking about somebody who's unskilled or unprepared. We look at certain fighters and we say, well, that fighter doesn't train hard enough. Maybe they don't know how to train hard enough. And that takes me into step 4. Become knowledgeable about the game. Stop all the emotional bullshit. It's a fight. If you guys bruise easily, don't do it. And I mean that physically and I mean mentally. If you bruise that easily, don't do it. It's a fight. This is not the popular group in high school where all the cool kids hang out. All right, think about it. All the fighters you knew in high school were scary mofos that either hung together or that was that one scary badass that kept to himself that nobody wanted to talk to because you just didn't know how it was going to end. I don't remember the fighters, the really good fighters. I don't remember them being the cool kids. All right, not the real good ones. And as far as learning, as far as your fighting goes, learn the arts that are available to you. Don't put all this premium on, I gotta learn jiu-jitsu, I gotta learn wrestling, I gotta learn boxing, I gotta learn Thai boxing, just because those tend to be the most popular. Because if those things aren't available to you, you're going to make excuses. What you do want to learn is high level, whatever you learn. So if that's, good sambo, maybe you don't have jiu-jitsu, but that's good sambo. Learn from a good sambo guy if it's available to you. Maybe you don't have good old school boxing, but maybe there's a kickboxing school, and I'll separate that from Thai boxing, but a good kickboxing school, you can learn from them. Or maybe there's that uncle that used to box. So maybe you don't have a gym to go to, but maybe on Saturdays he can show you a few tips. And if you don't have wrestling, maybe there's a good judo school nearby where you can get some form of takedown training in. Or maybe there's a half-ass MMA school in your area. They're not the greatest, but they have a good facility. And you can do some wrestling in there, or at least some cage work and wall work. And if you don't have Thai boxing, maybe there's good karate or good taekwondo or a good savat school or a good jeet kune do school. Something that does have some familiarity with what Thai boxing does. Find yourself a coach, all right? It doesn't always have to be associated with the school. Find a coach who maybe knows some of these things. Find a trusted training partner. Because if we go back to, your availability for training, maybe work does call, maybe family does call, and there's not enough time for you to do what you need to do. Maybe you don't have the gyms in the daytime, but you're free at night, and maybe you have a training partner that can be free at night and help you do things. Find a facility, if you can, that you kind of call home. All right? Because that would be the hub. And especially because they probably going to have a time frame. We open at 4, we close at 9. That's going to help you prioritize a little bit better. And if you don't find a team, you don't find a coach or a training partner, form a team. Try to put 4 or 5 guys together that, you trust. That maybe they have a skill in an area that's a little bit better than yours and they can help you progress. And form a club. Sometimes you just want, maybe you form 2 or 3 clubs. You have a karate club and a jiu-jitsu club and a boxing club. All right. But don't form a negative attitude because things don't go your way or you don't have what you need. What you need is the opportunity to train. If you train honestly and you go through the motions, you will make the adjustments if you're doing it honestly. And what I mean by that is you have to train under threat. You have to go in there willing to lose a little bit so you can make adjustments and get better. If you go in there to dominate and that's all you do, all you're going to do is turn people off. So you're going to have to learn a little bit about not only what to train, but how to train it. Because you want to make the people around you a little bit better. All right? And again, don't form a negative attitude about anything just because ish doesn't go your way. Deal with it. Hey, look, I'm Coach Sess, and you've had words with the Mad Coach.